Hello, welcome to episode 1 in the Map DevLog series. New series! For someone that has probably over 550 tutorials on commands and map making, I don't actually really have any maps. I think I did one sort of mini-game map, and that is it. So I thought, as I often do, to be honest, I should try and make a map. Now, usually, I just sort of, either lose interest or give up a bit of the way through, or the person I'm making the map with disappears, and nothing gets done. So I thought, if I make a map devlog series, then I've got more incentive to keep doing it. And some of you might say, yay, carry on, you can do it. Give me encouragement in the comments. But this is what I've got so far. There really isn't much. I've just been playing around with some data packs. The sort of map I'd like to make would be something inspired by the old point-and-click adventure games from a long time ago. The Dig, Fate of Atlantis, Monkey Island, that sort of thing. That's what I'd like to do. Anyway, I will go around these little data. So I've put together some data packs, and I'm just going to go around and show you what I'm doing. Most of them you recognise. We've got the map. We've done a tutorial on that. We've got the flickering lights. Here we have our NPC dialogue. Over there we've got a CCTV. We've got a journal, computer. This is combining items together, because quite often in these old point-and-click games you'd have one item, or you'd have two items and you could combine them together. And these are sort of hotspots. Let's start on the hotspots. So basically these are just set up. And it's a way that I can easily add them. They're data-driven, and I just specify where they are. I think this one is just set to give me emeralds. Yeah, I think they're all set up to give me emeralds at the moment. This one has a cooldown. Yeah, so it only works every 3 seconds. This one's stuck to the ceiling. We can have a quick look at the data packs, see what's going on. Basically, the hotspots are powered by data. We're not going to be digging too deep into these, but we will have a look at the data. And we can see, we just define them. So, for instance, this one is on the north wall. It's an iron sword, and it has an interaction index of 2. And it's got an angle. Interaction index is what controls happens when you click on it. So interaction index of 2 is running this. On command on success, it says who. If I fail, it says failed. And it summons an item. Item is from the items list, which is in a separate mod pack. Okay, so that's what it's doing. So I can really easily I can change its interaction index. I can change what it looks like. And I can set up a load of hotspots nice, quickly, and easily. That's what they are. Just things, a way for the player to interact with the world. It's not that interesting yet, really. Here we have items testing. So this is testing for combining items. And we can't... Right, I thought the way I would do it is the item you want to combine, put in your offhand, and then you combine it with the other item. Boom. So I've combined them together. It gave me raw iron. This one has a component on it, which means I keep it. So if I combine them, put it in the offhand, combine together, I get an iron ingot. Again, if we pop back, we will see that this is all sort of data-driven again. So I can create these items really easily. Set up, let's look at the items. So let's look at the raw gold one, for instance. Here we go. It's got some components on it. So it's giving it name, lore, all the usual stuff. It's got can combine. It can be combined with a combine index of 2. And so that's going to say, oh, well, let me check the item in your offhand. And the item we were checking then was the raw iron. Similar combine item. What is the result if you combine them? It gives me item 5. It gives me this item. So again, data driven. So I can set up items really quickly and easily. Okay, what else have we got? We have the CCTV cameras. Now this one is based on one of Gal Sergey's data packs from his data pack assembler. It is pretty cool. Again, I won't go through and show you each time though. Again, it's data driven. I can just summon a camera with an index. It will summon it, set it all up. I can view the camera. This one has player control. So I can move the camera around myself. When I come back out, it will just reset and start going backwards and forwards. Player control is a component the camera has. If I remove the component, the camera will just pan backwards and forwards while I'm looking at it. In fact, why not? You don't mind. Let's go and have a look at the cameras and see what they've got as components. Here we go. We'll go into function and the setup data again. So we can see this one has player control true, so the player can control it. It's enabled, so I can use it. It rotates, so it does move. And it has external power. Now the power is sort of like the lights as well and the computers. If the power goes off to the area, the cameras won't work, the lights won't work, the computers won't work. They're all tied together. We set up its yaw and pitch. So the minimums and the maximums are what it will pan between itself. The pitch is how far up and down the player can move it, and the defaults are when you stop viewing it, it goes back to. What else have we got there? That's it. How do we, we've probably got a little API. We can enable player control. Okay, so plaster camera index and a Boolean value. Let me copy that command there. Copy. And we'll go back. I think this camera is probably camera 0. But if we paste in that command, camera 0, player control, if I set that to 0, now I can't do anything. I can't control the camera. It will just keep on its pan backwards and forwards. And then I can shift back out again. And obviously if we want to enable the player control, we can just set the player control back on. And now I've got control of it. I can go up and down and around. Cool. So we've got a few things we can do. The green fuzzy things, don't worry about that. That's just a command that is indicating every marker. Just makes it easier when you're testing. I haven't used creepers for this, but I thought we could use overlays because it's very easy to, you can package a resource pack with your world. So I've actually started experimenting with the resource packs. So I've given myself a pumpkin item here with a custom overlay of pumpkin blur 1. And if I put that on, I think this one is just red. Yeah, it's just everything's red. But I've got another one here with a different overlay. And if I put this one on, we get green. And now if I go into the camera, it kind of looks, those pink lines are me just finding out where it was cropped. Turns out it's not cropped, it's just stretched across the screen. So now it looks a bit more like I'm in a camera. I think I would change the color. I'd have it quite faint. And I'd have some sort of box around it as well, just to make it look like you're in a camera, you're not just floating around your own head. These are unfortunately stretched though, so if I shrink down my window, you'll see, if I make it really thin, you'll see that my little recording sort of indicator has gone very short and flat. I mean, but who plays with their window like this? It's because the actual file itself is square and it stretches across the screen. I think I'm still probably going to put something in like this anyway, because it does look a lot, well, ignore the over-the-top green. I'll get rid of that. But it does make it look a lot more like I'm actually viewing a camera rather than I've just moved myself. So I'll probably use some form of overlay. Okay, now to get that overlay, I literally just downloaded a Pumpkin Blur, or remove Pumpkin Blur data pack and had a look at it. Then I added an extra file myself. And then in the newer versions, you can specify which file you use. So that's really cool, really handy. So those are what we're going to be using for cameras. I don't even know if I'm going to use half of this stuff in my map. I mean, hotspots, yeah. Combining items, yeah. CCTV camera would be cool. Right, what have we got here? We've got the journal. Okay. Journal I've got set up on a trigger as well. So if the player loses their journal, they can give themselves a new one. So if I give myself trigger journal, and I can look inside. We've got a little bit of information, and we can rip out a page to take our own notes. And then we've got up to 5 hints. So this is just a list. If I go now to journal, and we have a look at the data for journal. Okay, so we've got different hints. So I define these all at the beginning of the game. Just make loads of them. And then we have a list here of which hints the player currently can see. So I can see hints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're in my list. The journal only displays 5. So as one of those gets removed, it will now display the next one. So if I cut this down and said, okay, you're only going to display 1 and 2, and we went back and we did a reload. Now, I think the quickest way is probably for me to just clear my inventory and use the trigger again. And we'll see now it did nothing because I didn't reset the data. There we go. Let's reset the data. Clear. Now we've only got 2 hints. And what we can do is we can use a simple function and just say, add this hint, add this hint. So as I walk around the map, it's like, oh, I've walked into the spooky castle. And it's just like, right, okay, add the hint for spooky castle. That way, if a player doesn't play the map for a week or so, then what am I doing? They can just come back here and they've got up to 5 hints of what they should currently be doing, which has got to be more than enough. If you have a relatively linear path through the game, they're probably not going to need many hints at all. I thought 5 would be a nice number. You've always got something you can go and do. And we can also rip out a page. That literally just gives you a book. But we can use that book. Now, we have here a computer. Has it got power? Again, this uses power like the CCTV and the lights. If there is no external power, it will not work. There is. Okay. But this one requires a password input. Okay, well, I can do... Well, I'm not sure what that is. Let's click for help. Rip out a page of your journal, write the string you want to input on the first page, hold the book in your main hand and right-click on the keyboard. Okay, well, I know the password for the computer. It is test, because funnily enough, I was testing it. There we go. We've opened it up. And this one gives us option 3, which is disabled. Again, we can enable that easily. Option 4, which just says, woo, and we've got a number plate scanner. No valid input. Okay. Well, so maybe I've gone around and I found a car and it's got a number plate. And I go, oh, a number plate scanner. Okay. I'll put the number plate. I'll get a page. Let's put the number plate of the car in my page. I believe I call it AS45G68. Let's say that's the number plate. And I come over here and I use the number plate scanner. Let's just set another match. So you can ignore where it says running function. We'd turn that off with send command feedback false. So it says another match. Didn't clear the book from me. That's controlled by a component. If I have this one, for instance, instead it's going to, let's scan this number plate. It's going to say matching pair of tomatoes. I don't know why it says that. And it did take the book that time. So that can be controlled with data as well. If we turn it off and turn it back on, we need to put the password back in. Now, that's controllable by an input, a component too. So you can choose, does it forget the password? Does it always remember? And we can also change its index pretty simply as well. Let's go to computers. And we'll have a look at the data for computers. Now, somewhere in here, we'll have a nice little appy for changing, changing its index. Change set computer index. Okay, there we go. Let's copy that. So I'm currently running, I think this is index number 2. Let's paste this one in and switch it to index number 1. Let's turn it on. Now when we use it, hey, you didn't change. Why did you not change? Oh, let's change it to index 0. It was already on 1. Let's change it to 0. Now we turn it on. This one requires a keypad instead. So I've linked that into the keypad that we made in one of the tutorials. Code is still the same, 8473, and now this one opens up. This one has option 2, which sets a red wall block behind me for some reason. That's all that does. Or we have our emails. In our email, we have some emails from Scrimpy Nipnop and from Jim Bob McGoobles. Scrimpy Nipnop says, Flarp, that's not that useful. Jim Bob McGooble says, hi you, lovely day. What does the message look like? It's so long it runs over multiple lines, so you can just see it's me testing. All of that is also data driven. Let's have a look at the data for that. If we go to the setup, computer data. So here we have our checking for number plates. If you run the number plate software, it will look through these. So we can see the first one we tried just said another match. The second one cleared the Wi-Fi paper. That's not Wi-Fi. I originally set it up as waiting for input. So it's a waiting for input paper. We have emails. So we just have a list of emails. And they have an index of which computer they're stored on. And then are they visible? So you can have it so as you read the email, we set the visible to false and it disappears. That sort of thing. What else we got? Who it's from? Usual stuff. And then up here we have the computers. So first computer we were using was this computer. Index of 1, it's the museum computer. And you can see it wants waiting for input password, which was test. That's what I wrote into the journal. Reset when off, true. So if I turn it off, turn it back on again, I need the password again. Clear the paper, yeah. Okay, so you can see it's all data driven. If you do find a number plate, we run it through the number plate scanner. And that will come down here, look at the number plates and see what it has to do. And then we also have the first computer. So which one's that one? This one. This one has some different options. Option 2, execute function set block. So that was doing the set block. And this one also runs process emails. Which emails? Well, we'll grab any emails with an index of 0. So that's going to come down here to my emails and just go right. I'll find whichever ones have an computer index of 0 and add them. Cool. So that's what that's doing. I mean, it's rather a lot of stuff to take in, but I just thought I'd walk you around it. And I'm really hoping that what it'll do is inspire me to actually stick with it and make a map and finish it. So let's turn that off. Now we have our NPCs. We did a tutorial on this as well. So in fact, it's pretty much set up exactly as it was before. Again, just like in the tutorial, we're using all the components. They can affect each other. He wants a potato. Okay, but I added one extra thing. I've added a bit of pathfinding, and I really can't remember the command for it at the moment. So let's once again go back to, this will be NPCs. Let's have a look in our functions, NPC, pathing, follow path. Run the function as the NPC that will follow the path and pass an index for the path. But I didn't give myself an example. That's nice. Okay. So let's say Bob execute as any entity whose tag equals Bob. I know only Bob has that tag. At S run function. It will be part of the NPC, so they're going to have to go, probably quicker for me to have started just by typing it, to be honest. NPC pathing, follow path, and we need an index. Say 0. Off he goes. He's going to go round. You're going to jump, yeah, you're going to jump over that block, are you? Okay, and he's going to come back. And he's going to stop. So he's just running around a looped path there. How that's set up, again, data-driven NPC. Let's switch to the setup. So here we have, this is the index we passed. So we passed 0 index, so it's going to pick this path. Facing, yaw and pitch. Well, that's, when he stops, that's where he ends up facing. And he just walks through this path in a backwards order. So he goes here first. When he gets here, he then walks to there. When he gets there, he walks there, then there, then there. Then he walks... Then when he's finished and he's got to the last place, he faces those directions. Okay, how is that done? That is done with a very, very tiny little wandering trader. I don't even bother making him invisible at the moment. Let's get an invisibility potion. You can get splash potions of invisibility, can't you? Yeah, there's one. 3 minutes. Okay. Bob, oh, that's not how you use them. You can see that I use these things often. Bob, no, I just want to throw it at you. I don't want to interact with you. There you go. Right, Bob's gone. Let's make him follow that path again. Oh, there he is. There he is. Look, little tiny wandering trader. So he's the one that's actually following the path, but he disappears. Now you notice that he disappeared, but Bob carried on moving. Now the reason for that is because what happens, wandering traders, they get close to their destination. So he kind of gets to about here and he goes, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, I can't be bothered to go any closer. So when that happens, I summon a marker at the destination and then I teleport the actual NPC forwards until it hits the destination. Otherwise, he never goes where I want him to. And I actually want him to be quite precise. I want them to end up in the right place. For instance, if he's coming to talk to the player, I don't want him to just sort of like, oh, I'll just stand anywhere and talk to you. I want him to come right. I want control of where he goes. So we're doing a little combination there of wandering trader and then just look at him. Bye. Wandering trader, and you might see the marker appear actually. There's the marker. He walks to the marker and then the marker's killed. Okay, so that's the villagers. And then we've got our flickering lights. Again, this is just like the tutorial we did. We can turn them on. These ones are currently set to dodgy power, make sound. You can also have dodgy power, no sound, just in case you don't want that buzzing sound. You can have just on and off. I think they're all set to, they're all set to dodgy power. You can set them to on normal power, so they just turn on and off, or you can set them to no power and pressing the button does nothing. It's quite easy to update. You update the switch says fine, and it just finds every single light and other switch which has the same ID and updates them all for you. So that's nice and easy. And this, I think, is my favorite one. This is currently, I think, what's inspiring me to really want to make the map, or to make the map, is the map. So we're in the destination. Let's say we're in our office, and that's probably where I'm going to start, actually. In the office, you get an email on your computer, you check it, and it says, hey, you've got to come somewhere and do something. And we add that place to the world map. And now we allow the player to access the world map, and they can look around. I've added some sound effects. It's a bit swish, a bit quiet. And what we can do is we teleport places. So let's say we go off to Easter Island. Off we go. There's our little plane flying down to Easter Island. We arrive, and then we'll change the map. And we can do some things on Easter Island. We can fly around Easter Island for a bit. And when we're finished here, we will change back to the world map. And let's say we can go off to New Zealand. And then when we've finished with New Zealand, let's just stay on, let's go to New York. So let's say we do something in New Zealand. New Zealand is no longer needed. We remove New Zealand. Sorry, all you Kiwis. I'll put you back in a minute. No more Lord of the Rings. Okay, so that's gone from the map. Not an option anymore. Let's go home. And if we want, we can simply add stuff back. So the idea being, you start somewhere. You have a look around. What can I do? If you want, you can turn on your hotspot particles. This is going to give you a clue of things you can do. So I can see if I'm over here. Oh, I can interact with these things. Oh, and this, I'll try interacting with it. There. Oh, I've got an emerald. Very nice. So this is a bit of a help, really, just so you don't have to ever go around going, oh, I really don't know what I can interact with. You'll see that the computer power is going. This is going. So you might come along and you might go, oh, I'll turn on my computer. Oh, I need a password. Then you'll have to search for the password. 8473. You can say, oh, I've got some emails. I'll check them. And maybe one email says, help wanted. And it's from someone who needs help, funnily enough. Then you go to your world map. A new place has been added. You can now go to the destination. You go there, you check it out, you find more clues. More places become unlocked and you go around. That is the general idea. Okay, so I've not really shown you anything of the story because I don't really have the story yet. All I've been doing is I'm going, well, maybe I could start in an office and then I have to go somewhere. Oh, how do I get there? Oh, let's make a world map. So I made the world map. And I thought, well, I probably want spooky places with flickering lights. So I added the flickering lights. I thought, how's the player know where to go? I know, they could get an email. Okay, that involves setting up an entire computer then, and then an email system and all that. So I set up the computer. I thought, well, I want the player to be able to combine items too. So I added the item combination. And I thought, but what if the player forgets what they're supposed to be doing? Okay, well, I'll add a journal as well. But how can they interact with things and pick items up? Okay, well, we'll add a hotspots. What if I wanted to find a secret door? But the only way I could find the secret door is if I watched someone go through the door on a CCTV camera. Oh, okay, we'll add a CCTV camera. But I want to be able to interact with people to give me clues, and I want them to be able to walk around. Okay, then we'll add the NPCs. So that's basically as far as I've got. I keep thinking of things I might want to do and just adding them. Now, my kind of hope is that when I come to actually make a map, now, hopefully I'll put some effort into it because I've made episode 1 of the DevLog. So, fingers crossed. there will be an episode 2 and 3 and 4, etc. until I finish a map. And which would be good because you can give me ideas as well. So that could be quite handy. And I've lost my train of thought. But you've got the basic idea. I've made a few systems because I can't think of the story really yet. I'm going to go along the lines of maybe you're just something standard like a detective and someone says, come and find this item for me. I want it to be like Fate of Atlantis, which is one of my favourite games. So maybe we're going to have ancient pyramids and sort of mummies' tombs and stuff, maybe a bit of magic and ancient technology. Yeah, that sort of thing is what I'm thinking. I've got a load of systems set up. And then if people are interested, it will encourage me to actually go, right, let's actually use these systems to do something. Anyway, this has been a lot of waffling and just showing you random stuff. If you're interested in any of these, the map, the flickering lights, the NPCs, the CCTV camera, I think we've got journal. Those are all tutorials in data packs on my channel. You'll be able to have a look through them. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Sorry. Stop waffling. No script for this. I'm just literally making up as I go along, as if you couldn't tell. So, let me know what you think. Should I keep going? Should I actually make a map and release it? It would be nice to have one. I said I'd stop waffling. I started again. I'll stop. I'll stop for good this time. Well, not for good. I'll be back soon. Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.